But Esther's identity here has changed. She's one of God's people. See, if your identity is, I'm not one of God's people versus I'm one of God's people, it changes everything. If you're not one of God's people, then your identity is something that must be achieved by your beauty, your success, your income, your grade point average, your dating relationship, your marital status, your athletic performance, your parental approval, what clothes you wear, what car you drive, what neighborhood you live in. If you're one of God's people, your identity is not achieved, it's received. You're loved, you're forgiven, you're cared for, you're blessed. You found favor in the sight of God. You don't have to impress anyone. You don't have to do anything. You know what happens to a child when they're born? The parents love them. The child hasn't performed yet. The child hasn't accomplished yet. The child hasn't achieved yet. They don't work for their identity. They work from their identity. They're loved. They're cared for. They're part of the family. So it is when we're born again in Jesus Christ. We receive a new identity. And we don't live for our identity. That's the problem with the whole world. And marketing and advertising just pressures you to compete and to purchase so that you can produce an identity. We don't work for our identity, we work from our identity. If God loves us, well then we could just love others, and we don't need to manipulate them to love us so that we could be loved. If God cares for us, well that means we don't so desperately need other people to be there for us. And when they fail us, we can forgive them because we're still cared for, because God cares for us. When we sin, it's not the end, because God forgives sin. And He changes people, and there's hope for us. You see how it works? The whole world lives for their identity. Only a Christian can live from their identity. For the non-Christian, identity is something achieved. For the Christian, it's something received. And what happens to those who pursue their identity in their own activity, it ends up in misery. One of two ways. You either set for yourself an identity you aspire to. I want to be married. I want to have kids. I want to make money. I want to get a degree. I want to own a company. I want to buy a house. I want to be healthy. I want to lose weight. Whatever it is, okay? Your identity. If you labor for that and you accomplish it, you're proud. You're going to see that in a moment with Haman. You're arrogant. Look at what I've done. You're bragging and self-righteous and self-justified. And then you start to have contempt for other people. Oh, they're not smart, they don't try, they don't work hard. I did it, so can they. Or if you try and fail, you're depressed. I got dumped. I'm not valedictorian. I didn't make varsity. Nobody asked me out. I'm getting older and I don't know if I'm ever going to get married. We tried to have kids and we can't conceive, or we keep having miscarriages. I don't know. I thought they would never leave me nor forsake me and we'd be together forever, and I got served divorce papers. I was going to be healthy and live a really long life, and the doctor said it's cancer. Despairing. Her identity is changed. So she can say things like, if I perish, I perish. Meaning, if I die, I die.